All right, welcome back, everyone, after a break. Um, I am loving the conversation that we're in because for me, it really gets to the heart of it. And, um, the Toyota production system as an analogy is actually not a bad analogy. I think right before you came, Jackie, we were making the analogy that, like, um, the conversational domain that we need, that humanity needs, is one where people can very easily navigate to, search for, and find the conversations where they're most needed and where they most want to be, right? And so I liken that to like the Toyota production system, where they've got hundreds of models of vehicles at any given time that they're producing, each one of which on average maybe has 15,000 parts, right? So you can imagine the scheduling, the inventory control, making sure that they've got the parts that they need to assemble the run of vehicles they need at the right time and all that. And so it's very, very sophisticated. We need an equally sophisticated system to help organize ourselves into the right network of conversations, into that efficient, productive network that's covering all the topics that need to be covered with the urgency at which they need to be covered, right? And that red alerts can go out. Hey, like I studied, civil engineering with a focus on, hydraulics, hydrology, and hydroclimatology when I was in undergrad and grad school. So if somebody with my expertise is needed, I certainly hope I'll get a red alert message on my phone saying, hey, there's a tier 1 project which is being held up because we lack someone with your expertise. Can you help? Right? I'll be delighted, right? And you would be too, Jackie, if they called upon you for something that was super critical. Hey, we want, we're getting very close to solving the hunger problem, but we need someone with your expertise to help to participate. Will you please help? Well, you're like, yes, goodness, yes. Let me in. What do you need? Right? And I think most people are going to respond that way, but we need to create, the system, right, that will facilitate that, right? And so obviously, this is going to take a lot of work. There's no question about it. It's going to take a lot of work. But if collective superintelligence and having that system, including the software and the rules and the culture and everything that's going to take to make it great, if that's critical path to us saving life on Earth, I don't care how much work it is. It might take 50,000 people to pull it off, to build the thing. Great, let's round up the 50,000, right? I mean, let's just say in an extreme, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take some huge effort to build out CSI. Well, let me go back to the screen share just to put that into some perspective, right? So here it is. Y'all see that, right? Okay, thank you. So if the choice is between continuing down the death spiral that we're on and a whole world, obviously we choose a whole world, a world that works, a world that supports life, right? And if to get there we need a great strategy and plan, well then let's get that strategy and plan, whatever it takes. And to get that strategy and plan, we need collective superintelligence. And that's going to take a whole build out and a whole effort and a lot of work and all that. Well, then let's put in the work. And if to get that started, we need to have the conversation, well, guess what? Let's have the conversation, right? So, what we're really doing is we're taking that, exponential line of dominoes, right, where each domino is bigger than the one before by a certain multiple, like 1.4 or whatever, right? And we're basically tracing it back until we get to a domino that we can actually push over, right? And then we push that one over. Because I think what's been going on is we've been doing a lot of work at the other end of the spectrum, right? At the level of whole world and people and planet. And it's like, we need this. Well, guess what? We all know that now, right? It's not like we don't know what we need. We just don't know how on earth to turn this ship around. The whole of planet Earth, right? Because even though, you know, Jackie and a whole bunch of her friends and relatives and network, they've all gone vegan, that's not enough. The world is still going down, even though they all went vegan. What's going on here? Well, the thing is, we need scale. We don't just need for a few people to get it and implement it in their own lives. We need scale. We need for the world to get it and implement it. So we need a strategy and plan that will literally turn the world around and get it out of the death spiral that it's in and onto this new course toward a whole world, which we can probably achieve very quickly. Welcome, Stephanie. Great to see you, Stephanie. And Emery has his hand up. We are recording and broadcasting live on Twitch. Go for it, Emery.
Yeah. Would you say that the whole world is like one humongous elephant?
I would take the analogy of a spaceship, right? It's like one humongous spaceship that we all share, and it's heading on, and it's in a death spiral tailspin right now, and we're, you know, working on how do we change its course? How do you change the course of an entire world, right?
We gotta fit it into the bug somehow, and then drive it to the right coordinates, right?
That's it. And CSI. Well, I think, you know, the path that I just shared. I'll share it again in a moment. But that's the path that makes sense to me. But you see, that's why we're having the conversation. The conversation helps us figure out the whole path. Is that the right path? I'm just going to flash it real quick, Jackie. I know you got your hand up, but let me just flash on here, especially since Stephanie just joined. This is the path that I'm talking about, where we have whole world. And I'm saying that this in the lower right, whole world, wholeness for people, wholeness for planet, that's now obvious. We know exactly what we need to do. We can pretend that we don't know, but the reality is that we do know. What we don't know is how the heck to transform the world from the death spiral that it's on to a new path toward a whole world. How do we get the world to essentially make that hard left turn, right? We're groping for the steering wheel. Well, we're suggesting that if we had the right strategy and plan, including detailed implementation plan, starting with exactly what we needed to do today, right? Then we could start this process, this path, get the world on this new path. But we don't have a strategy or plan yet. So what do we need to get one? We need collective superintelligence. What do we need to create collective superintelligence? Well, the starting point is the conversation, which is what we're having right now. It's a conversation about this whole stack, right? With all of its stages and elements. Alrighty, with that, I'll turn it over to Jackie. Go for it, Jackie.
You answered it a little bit. I was just asking, I didn't know earlier what you had discussed. What action items should we be taking so that we have momentum moving forward? Even the smallest action items, what can we take between meetings, even from this one to Friday? Should we be starting to write press releases? Should we be starting to think of topics for the meeting? Should we be starting to outreach locally to invite people to the meetings? I just feel with every meeting, I need a little bit of an action item to work on to keep me focused and keep me motivated.
Absolutely, I totally appreciate that, and thank you for asking. Well, let's brainstorm it. It looks like Emery has an idea. Go for it, Emery.
Well, last meeting you were putting together the invitation. I don't know where's the invitation. You can have the invitation more geared for the local society of of Brooklyn, New York, it's going to be more directed to those who are in the same neighborhood, right? But in general, there should be a generic type of invitation that exists so that it can be used by people who are concerned and would like to get people on the ground involved. But to start off with in Brooklyn, we were working on an invitation, right? So has that been finalized? Is it posted somewhere? Has it been produced? And is there a list? Is there a list of, well, we have to develop a list of people that could, well, find people to put on a list so that the invitations could be directed to those specific people, bring them in to have the conversation, right? So gotta start somewhere, and I guess we have some identification to be done as far as who is going to be involved and what actions those that we think will be and will decide to be involved, how they will participate, under what, like things have to be negotiated here to some degree. Like Miles has put it in the past. There's some kind of contract that should be possibly established. I don't know. I'm not a specialist in how contracts would work in this case, where we're trying to work out of the goodness of our hearts, as opposed to the goodness and the size of our wallets. So I don't know. It's gonna take some work, I think. But we have the invitation somewhere.
All righty, you've asked some great questions there. I don't know if James has answers, but I'll pass it to James, and then I've got some comments. Go ahead, James. And welcome back,
James.
Stephanie. Woo!
All right, love, how are you? Just what will, as I said there earlier on, when I said earlier, your priority is the conversation. We need to have the conversation, and we need more heads in the conversation, more voices. So, as I said earlier, priority is getting more people in the conversation. So that's one of the things we should be discussing or trying to organize. And I think I spoke about this. We had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago. We were saying we should write a letter, as Emily was saying there, to design specifically. Like there's plenty of people in the 1% putting up their own videos on YouTube. There's all sorts of different people involved and aware of the climate situation, and they're putting up their own videos on YouTube. And as we discussed last time, the problem is we're not all connected. So we should design a letter specific to those type of people, a letter specific for whatever the situation is. But and send out the letter to get in touch with these people via their internets and their posts or whatever, and send them this invitation to come and join us on the block party, that we're all of relative, similar mindset, and we're all, hoping to achieve the same goal really in the end of the day. So just, give them the invitation, as Emery was saying. So a letter should be formatted, I think. Thanks.
Well,
I like it.
The other thing too, James, is that okay? I received the invitation. Okay, so I'm ready to come to the party. I'm ready, and I'm gonna make certain that I'm there, and I've showed up. Okay, here I am. It's 9 o'clock in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, and I showed up to participate. Now, how is the block party and you know, most of us who are here, you know, we've been at most all of the block parties, but how will we receive these people? You know, like, are we prepared to delegate a certain course of action for any one individual that does arrive? You know, let's say someone, okay, I'm here, I heard, I received an invitation, and I'm here. But, you know, can tell me what to do, tell me what you want to do, or maybe that's not the right approach. Maybe it's going to be something different where we engage them in the conversation then at that point, and then they're going to be part of the creative process, and they're going to bring up issues that maybe need to be worked upon to have it work the way we envision it, right? Because I mean, we have a certain vision of how things are going to go, how things are going to proceed. But as individuals enter into our vision, into the party, into the block party, they're going to be bringing their stones for the soup. And, you know, we're going to have to see how these things taste, and who's better to describe it than those who are bringing it. Okay, they know better than we will. They are going to be the creative ones, and they're going to be the ones moving this project forward. And Maya, this is the way I see it.
Beautiful. All right, Jackie has her hand up. Go for it, Jackie.
I completely agree with you, Emery. It's almost like we have to have some kind of like a framework that we're inviting them into. And I was thinking of the topics of the conversations. To me, it's like what's most enticing about the invitation is about really giving them a preview of the topics of conversations that we're inviting them to contribute to and elevate. Like, to me, this is an invitation to elevate the conversation. We need to do more. We need to move faster. We need to elevate this conversation. Please help us do so. And I think the two areas, at least, that I've been asked to collaborate on another project that I was like, oh my God, this is perfect for Operation Stone Soup. It's food politics and the future of food. Like, anyone that's working on food politics and the future of food, like, those are the conversations that are gonna, you know, those are the people that are gonna raise the conversation and give us a much broader understanding of what's going on the ground that we can harness, that we can bring into this, and who's gonna make the connections for us. So I really want to look into that because, again, this is the way the universe works. I'm working on two parallel projects. That's the same effort. I mean, how much more beautiful could that be? And it's like, okay, let me get into that. Let's start talking about what these topics are. And so I can start formulating the invitation so we can start growing this and feeling again like there's momentum moving forward.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, yeah, let's work on that invitation. I'm starting to draft something now, now that it's percolated a bit. James has his hand up. Go for it, James.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And yeah, exactly what you're saying there as well, Jackie. But basically, what you're doing is you're looking up. We just say you look up somebody on who has videos out on YouTube. We just say no, the couple of that present peak prosperity. I shared a few links with them. They're very much up on the global dimming situation. You know, they're scientists and what have you. It depends on who you're inviting. But when you're inviting them, we have the brunt of our main invitation letter, but you just literally word it slightly for each person that you're inviting, and you invite them to give a talk on the videos that they're putting up on YouTube. That's their invitation. Their invitation is to give a talk, and you give them a time or times that would be suitable for them to let them get back there about the time. Like. So that way then, you put that up as part of the agenda then for the block party conversation for the block party, that there's a specific hour or whatever given for, as we've had guests already. Like, it's time to start inviting more guests who have who have specific interests in areas and scientific knowledge-based interests backed up, and get these people on, invite them to give a talk, and invite them to join in the conversation afterward. This will then hopefully then entice them to come back further and get involved for further conversation. But on top of that, when it's streaming live, it will get more people's interest because there's more interesting conversations starting to take place on it. So it's all about getting numbers, like, so this is what I'm saying. You choose the person by the topic and you word the letter accordingly.
I love it. I think we're hitting the nail on the head. What we need to do is build the network of conversations that we want, right? And we certainly have plenty of hours in the week in which to do it. So what I think would be really cool is if we mapped out the schedule that we want, right? And then when we send the invitations, we've got something very concrete, very specific to invite them to. And I think part of the schedule should include time for them to come and speak, for them to be a speaker, right? And, you know, come in and give their talk and then have Q&A afterwards, etc. And that might be a good thing to do in the time slot from, say, 1 to 3 Pacific time, because we got Divine Feminine on the block party. We can, and then we can figure out how to schedule this meeting. But let's start with the block party, because that's the big one. We got a lot of room there. So from 9 to 11, this is all Pacific time. We have the Divine Feminine. From 11 to 1, we have K-Mama, Food Healers, and that's really where that's really kind of our, let's just call it the all hands meeting for feeding the world, right? Or, you know, or for Operation Stone Soup, or whatever name we give to the overall project. And then in the 2 hours after that, it could be a space for scheduling people to come and give talks, right? And if nobody is scheduled to give a talk at that time, well, we'll schedule something. There will always be something, even if it's one of us leading the conversation. And so, and with that, I think we're off to a flying start with the world of food. You know, you got 2 hours of Divine Feminine, followed by 4 hours of food. And then, of course, we have the whole rest of the block party after that, you know, another 17 hours for whatever we need to cover next. And then I think the rest of those 17 hours can be determined by what happened in the first 4, right? You know, let's not be rigid and say, well, this is the schedule that we have to take. No. Look, after the first 4 hours, we're going to have a whole bunch of new information and new people, right? So let's get into this dynamic framework. Anyway, Emery's got his hand up. Go for it, Emery.
Yeah, thanks. So this is kind of how I picture it, is like, okay, we can seek out these people, you know, like James suggests, invite them to speak and maybe give some kind of an idea, like a presentation of some kind of introduction as to what they're working on. Given the fact that we've identified them as being persons of interest that could provide help or assistance, but I think that, you know, like Jamin, you need to be at the helm. You know, like, let's say we do find people, and you know, we try to invite them, but the invitation, I think, it has to be directed in a way that, okay, please get in touch with Jamin Shively, or please get in touch with Jack Solomon, or please get in touch with so-and-so, whoever is going to take the lead hand for that particular scheduling and development of that. I think the invitation will have to be, there'll have to be information in there so that they could contact you or whoever, whoever we will decide is going to handle that. Because, I mean, after all, you're going to have to coordinate that at some point until it's unmanageable, and then you'll delegate, or somebody will provide further assistance if needed. But to start off, I think you're lead man, or Jackie, I don't know. You some. I mean, I'm in Montreal. I don't see myself how I can assist that, and I'm not really an administrative. I mean, in some ways I am, but in many ways I fall short in this endeavor. But I continue to provide ideas and move it along.
Well, see that, and that's stone soup for you. We all contribute what we have to contribute, right? Not what, oh, I wish I could contribute this, but I don't, no, stop wishing. Just contribute what you have. That's it. And Jackie has done a phenomenal job so far inviting folks to come to the Divine Feminine. I'm not volunteering her to do this. It's just an idea. And you know what? Nothing wrong with saying, hey, what about this? What about that? We're just kicking around ideas here. But I'll just share kind of where I'm coming from, building off of your sharing, Emery. I love leading these meetings, and they're 2 very long meetings that happen every week. And as you can imagine, I need a bit of a break, especially after the block party. So, and I give myself that time. So in the end, with 32 hours per week, that often spills into 34 hours or 35 hours, depending, of just meetings that we're committed to holding. That's a lot of production every week. So that's what I focus on mainly, is holding these meetings. And if I can get a few things done in between meetings, great, right? But that's not really my focus. My focus is having these meetings, that these meetings continue. And, and the stone soup that emerges is the stone soup that emerges. It depends on what ingredients everyone brings. James has his hand up. Go for it, James.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Yeah, well, as I said, it's only a matter of us compiling here between us a basic standard letter, invitation letter, that can be edited by any one of us who wants to use that basic standard letter to invite somebody who they think would be of interest to give a talk. That way, then, there doesn't have to be any one person that has to do this. There's no real, it's a standard letter. We all download the standard form and we can edit it as we wish. And take the initiative ourselves. In other words, don't be letting any one person try to deal with all of it. We just take the initiative. We know ourselves who we feel that would be capable of giving a good talk, and if we are capable or not ourselves of actually getting in touch with them and getting an invite into them. Whether they respond or not, then it's up to themselves, but we take the initiative ourselves, is what I'm saying. We just need to compile the standard letter. That's all. And a letter that we can all download and we can all edit to whoever it is we're inviting under whatever topic it is. And we set the time, as you said there now. You said the 2 hours that you chose, that will be the set time that they be invited to. Whether they can make it the first Friday or whether they can make it the second Friday, whichever, they'll get back to you and let you know anyway. This is what I'm saying. We just do a standard letter. It's up to everybody else to take the initiative.
I love it. That sounds great. Jackie, go for it.
And I'm more than happy to help with the scheduling and then helping to support the invitations, keeping that. It's just, I'm already doing it for the Divine Feminine. It's just the same day later. So, you know, administratively, I am more than happy to help support this action and be the center point if people want to invite and check on what days are available. Let's do this. Let's just start it and let's get it done. And let's just contribute all our skills, what we have. And let's just start rocking. I think we can do this invitation and just start it moving and start discussing the topics. I think we can. I know we can. There's no thinking, I know.
I love it. Thank you, Jackie. Emery, go for it.
Yeah, key factor with these people that are on the ground there. Key factor, I think, is that they be. I mean, it all boils down to contributions, doesn't it? I mean, at some point, these people, they're going to be hit upon to come and carry a lot of water for this project, right? I mean, we're putting our, I mean, we're really envisioning that their involvement will be able to ensure that, you know, the operation will be able to feed a lot of people, right? And the involvement of people on the ground that we're bringing into the conversation now are people that are going to be hands-on, boots on the moving on the ground, right? So I think that it's important that their voices be heard throughout this this creation of the ultimate vision that we're going to put into action, right? We're going to need these people to start voicing, you know, some of their abilities and what they're willing to contribute, you know. I mean, that's very important here. And I mean, I'm not going to shy away from pointing out the fact that, you know, the food's got to come from somewhere and the deliveries are going to have to come from somewhere. There's a lot of things that have to come from somewhere, and that's the elephant in the, those are the elephants that got to be put into the beetle there somehow. And you know, I'd like to see more development on that. I don't know personally. I mean, I guess we have to watch more videos. There's a lot of people doing that already. Like Jackie knows, there's a lot of associations and groups that are constantly working on these fine things that humanity does to their fellow man, you know, feeding each other and taking care of each other, right? And there's a lot of that happening as we speak. But now we're crying out for a lot more, right? We're crying out for something that's going to have an impact on a future press conference that could possibly engage the whole planet on towards an action that, you know, is needed. So it's a multi-leveled thing here, multi-level plan, not easily totally laid out for everybody to clearly see in 2 minutes, you know. So anyway, we're doing the best that we can. And Jamin, you're I think just have to carry on with this. Jackie too, James, you got a movement there in Ireland, you know. So it's the focus is to bring all these energies in, and there have been a lot of new people coming to the block party of late too, like Fallon, you know, with the DAO and how these things are to be integrated. And, you know, I mean, he's waiting for something, some development, I'm sure. So, you know, Lauren's got to contact probably him at some point, you know, because it's they're waiting. You know, I find people are waiting, and I guess if people who wait, say, well, somebody else will do it, you know. But in the end, I think you know, it's a big task. You need everybody to do it, to help with it.
Yeah, well, I think we've got, ironically, the right framework with Stone Soup. We've got the right model, which is, you know, we're just showing up as we are, right? We're not promising anything we can't deliver. We're just saying we're here, we're committed, and we ain't going nowhere until everyone's fed. Yeah, that's right. And we're standing here in that space of commitment. And because it's collective, it has so much more inertia, right? It's like if one of us starts to kind of, you know, get depressed or something, all we have to do is show up here and the rest of us will get us all cheered up, right? And also, let me know if y'all are experiencing this, but I find that when I'm back with you all together and we're talking about this, it's like there's stuff that I remember that I wasn't really thinking about before. But when I'm back here, it's like, oh yeah. It's like oh yeah. Well, let me tell you exactly what's going on here, okay? So look at the image on your screen. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, if you're seeing it in gallery view, and if you can see it in gallery view, please do that. I see Jackie's looking at it in gallery view. So you see literally eight windows here, right? Stephanie, you just see her name. Everyone else, you see either their face or an image or, you know, something that's unique to them, right? A spinning fan in the case of Melvin. That's because he's away. But anyway, but the 8 of us constitute a collective brain. This is a collective intelligence, right? Any formation of people that's working together in harmony, that's working together and values everyone's contributions and values everyone, and everyone is loved and cared for, right? And respected and honored, right? And given space to speak. That's collective intelligence, right? Now, we're now seeking to take this to the next stage. And so I see you got your hand up. By the way, so as the you know, host of the meeting, I actually cannot raise my hand. I wish I could. So what I end up doing is I just type my name in the chat window if I'm if I'm in line to talk. But anyway, so I'm going to hand it over to you, just so I'm not too loquacious here. Go ahead, Seth.
I think it was you, Emre. You said, you know, you've got to get things going. You need enough people and all that. But I think Greta Thunberg is an example of sometimes you just have to just step out. You know, like the people came afterwards. I mean, I suppose this is an example of somebody stepping out. Jamin stepped out, and we've come along. You know, that's how it works, isn't it? Somebody has to step out, and that doesn't have to be Jamin. It can be any one of us, you know, in whatever sphere that we're very concerned in. You know, with taking Greta as an example, and millions of other people before her who've done the same. They've stepped out of the comfort zone and they've got on with it, you know, and they will, usually it requires making an idiot of yourself or potentially making an idiot of yourself, which is the obstacle. And also the obstacle is that, oh, is this going to go anywhere? And you have to not be too addicted to the outcome, you know, just think, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Seth. Exactly. Well, I'm working on a draft letter here, which I'll just talk through. I am writing to invite you to participate as a speaker, either you solo or as part of a round table discussion on the topics of food, food security, and redesigning the world's food networks to ensure that everyone is well nourished without exception ever again, and in a way which is healing to Mother Earth. I mean, doesn't that just say it all? I'm writing to invite you to participate as a speaker, either you solo or either as a sole presenter. That sounds better than Han Solo. Either as a sole presenter or as part of a roundtable discussion on the topics of food, food security, and redesigning the world's food networks to ensure that everyone is well nourished without exception ever again, and in a way which is healing to Mother Earth. Here, I'm just going to paste that into the chat. That way we can kind of take this one. Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, well, just one suggestion, and invite him as a guest speaker. So put in the word guest anyway. But are you just concentrating now on the food side of the situation now, or would you be best on, instead of itemizing what you want them to speak about, just to give a speak on your latest video on whatever, and we can that way then it's anyone can apply the letter then to whoever they want to send it to. Like if you're itemizing a couple of things, like there's other subjects we want to get guest speakers in on, so it could be a vast amount of subjects. So why itemize anything? Just say we would like to invite you as a guest speaker on the block party to give a talk and maybe partake in a Q&A afterwards on your latest video that you posted on YouTube concerning, which can be edited afterwards then. Rather than, like, if you're going to be writing one for specifically to someone who's involved in food and the food program, then Jim, and you'd head it that way to them, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If it's not somebody that has a video up, because that's what I'm saying. It depends on who you're writing it to. So you'd have to have some people. Not everyone has a video out on YouTube, but if you're chasing someone who has a video and you want to give them a talk, want them to give a talk about that, then you just ask, to give a talk about that.
Yeah, or or for example, the future of travel. Like there are lots in terms of world system change. There are lots of elements on it. There's the food element, there's the travel element, there's the agriculture, which is part linked to the food. The transport is linked to the food, but there are different things, and different people are specializing in these things, and they're putting their talks out on YouTube. And it could be even some kind of headhunting, where I quite often read the comments section below a video because I find the conversation more interesting or as interesting as the video that's been put out. And you can quite easily select somebody who's quite smart and who's got something to say, and easily contact them through, their name on the in the comments. And you can even make an invite below their comment. Say, do you fancy coming along to the block party because you seem to have something interesting to say on this subject? That way you're not, because in a way, the people who've already put out a video, they've got their package, if you know what I mean. So that's great. Yes, invite them. But I like the idea of people who are still exploring it, still, they're brainstorming with themselves and brainstorming with others, because that way you've got the conversation. And like I say, I do often find the comment section, the conversation in the comment section, a lot more interesting and varied.
I agree with what you're saying there anyway, so that's a great idea because I do that as well, and I'd look. So the best thing you could do when you're looking in the comment section, and if you want to invite somebody, is just send them the link for the radish.org and invite them to the collective intelligence in that comment, because you don't really know their credentials or anything else. Whereas inviting a guest speaker is what I'm talking about on the actual subject that they're specifying on, which would be the person, you know, which would be what the people are making comments on anyway, on that video anyway. So, but no, I'm talking about writing specifically to these people, invite them to have a talk or give a talk on the block party. The reason for it is not just that we can have a conversation afterwards ourselves in a Q&A with them or her, whatever the case may be, but so that people watching the live stream who wouldn't ordinarily go searching out that person or know about that person on YouTube to see his videos or know what he's talking about, and if they are tuned into the block party, then they're getting another aspect from another professional in his field or her field giving a talk, and we're having a Q&A conversation. This will entice people to get involved in the conversations and join the party. So your idea is exactly right as well, but I would just suggest get to them in the links, just send them the link for Radish and for the block party.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. What a great way to invite people. Find out who's making cool comments. And because that means they're in the conversation, they're participating, right? They may not be known, but you know what? You know, that phrase from that sentence from the Bible, and I know you got your hand up, Emery. I'll pass it to you in a second. That phrase from the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth, right? I don't see these people with gigantic egos contributing a heck of a lot more than what they're already contributing, you know, and in many cases that's very valuable books, valuable analysis, whatever. But people with giant egos don't generally do too well in conversations like these, right? You know, unfortunately, and it's a real, you know, handicap, disease, call it what you will, right? But the reality is that it's there, right? If I'm putting together a soccer team, right, you know, it's simply not fair to bring out someone who just broke their knee and is in recovery. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to the team. It's not fair to the opponent. It's just not fair to anyone, right? And so we just have to be, you know, we need to be fair to the process and to all the hungry people that we're seeking to feed, that we do this right and that we put together the right teams. And so, you know, if that means we have to filter out people with big egos, so be it. Now, on the other hand, the flip side to that, well, I'll get to the flip side in a minute. Emery's got his hand up. Go for it, Emery.
Yeah, thanks. I'd just like to point out that, you know, our primary focus should be established right from the start as an introduction. I mean, wherever these invitations end up, I think it is absolutely important that there be an introduction as to, look, who are we? Who are these people? What is this group? You know, and so it has to be pointed out. It has to be stated right up front what our goals are what the objective is, and what the whole project is striving to achieve. And that is saving life on the planet and ending pandemics and cooling the planet. And so that gets promoted right from the start as an introduction, and then it goes where it needs to go from there, right? And you know what I mean? It's got to be a solid foundation established upon any kind of contact or any kind of hopefulness that we may have towards any individual who we think is going to be ready to participate. You know, so the approach is very important. You know, I think we should stay focused. You know, we have quite a serious project in progress here, and that's Brooklyn Eats, right? And we want to focus on that because, you know, we've already developed a process that's going to ultimately bring us to the next step in regard to that, right? Which is ending pandemic, and then, you know, the big prize, which is you know, cooling the planet in time, and you know what's involved there.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because it's I'm going to call it you know, like the glasses that are called bifocals. It's because they have two foci, bifocal, two areas of focus. So I say we be clear. We've got, you know, we've got two levels of focus. One is on Operation Stone Soup, which is at the level of the whole world. Yes, we're going to start in one city, probably Brooklyn, or maybe multiple cities that include Brooklyn. Anyway, there's some stuff to figure out there, but we're starting wherever we're starting. Actually starting, well, we already started weeks ago, and we're continuing. But we're starting where we are, and we're expanding from there. And our mission is the entire planet. That's Operation Stone Soup. It's so simple. It's feed everyone in a way that nourishes them and Mother Earth and stops pandemics. It's as simple as that. That's one area of focus, OSS. The other is much broader, and that is the saving and transformation of all of life on Earth. The saving and transformation of life on Earth. We first got to save it before we can transform it, right? You know, if there's a 10-year-old kid who's having some trouble with math in school, and he's in the middle of the Pacific drowning, I first need to get him out of the water and save his life and pump out his lungs before I can give him the math tutoring that he needs, right? Okay, so we first have to save life on Earth before we can then transform it, right? Stage one, save life. Stage two, transform it. And I think we need to articulate both. We're focusing on OSS, and we're focusing on saving and transforming life on Earth. And so anyway, I think we can, here, let me screen share because I'm starting to work up. Let's see. Oh, Stephanie wrote up something here. Okay, I'm going to copy that, paste that. Very good. And now I'm going to screen share, and then we can all work on it together. All right, so let me put that on the top and screen share. See, this is collective intelligence in action. And what a trip, huh?
Jamer.
Yeah, yes, sir.
What Stephanie just put was exactly right. But if any of us go to YouTube and we're listening to somebody's vid, and then we're reading the comments, and we see somebody's put a nice chunky or, you know, finely honed comment, you know, smart comment, and then we just put Stephanie's little message. It's nice and brief. You don't want to be too long because I'll stop reading. And you know, there they are. They've been invited, and it's targeted. You say if they're called Red Moss or whatever weird name they've given themselves on the
yeah.
Just say Red Moss, and then you add Stephanie's nice brief invitation and see what happens. Maybe they turn up, maybe they don't, but job done. And we can all do that, so it doesn't have to be centralized for somebody doing it. We just do it as part of our, oh, this guy sounds interesting, this woman sounds interesting, there we go, I've done the invite, job done.
Love it, love it. Okay, I'm creating two sections here. Stephanie's draft original, which I won't touch. And that is so well written, Stephanie. I'm gonna read it through out loud, just as is, and then I'm gonna do some edits. On behalf of Jamin Shively of radish.org, we would love to invite you to join our weekly 24-hour block party as a guest speaker. We have seen your work, and then we, mention what their work is, and loved what you have to say regarding, and then insert the topic. We would love to offer you a time slot to discuss this more on our block party. Feel free to view our past and present work on radish.org and this YouTube page or pages. We are a community committed to solving a myriad of problems we face in the world today, including hunger, or whichever topic pertains to the person you want to invite. Very good. I like that. That's really good, Stephanie. Tailor it. We look forward to discussing this further with you and collaborating to make this world a better place. Okay, no. This is really good. Let me go ahead and edit. Our weekly 24-hour, I think that's a really good thing to call it out as a 24-hour thing, because that catches their attention. And we'll call it by its full name, Collective Intelligence Block Party, as a guest speaker. We have seen your work and love what you have to say regarding blank, and we would love to offer you a time slot to discuss this more on, I would just say, an upcoming block party. Feel free to view our past and present work. I'll get the right links there in a little bit. We'll get that all tidied up. We are a community committed to solving, it's actually, you take the word A out there, solving myriad problems, just like that. We're committed to solving myriad problems we face in the world today, including, and then whatever topic. We look forward to discussing this further with you and collaborating to make this world a better place. Please contact us via, I'm just going to put the sign up. Well, we could just, please contact us via info@radish.org, right? And we, well, look, if it's a personal message, feel free to put your, I'll just put here, or your email address, if you prefer. As we would love to discuss further and get you on the schedule, right? That doesn't sound too aggressive. All right. And get you on the schedule if you are interested. I don't know. I don't know if that's, or just leave it at that, right? Okay. Anyway, that's my edited version. I'll go ahead and copy paste that into the chat. Looks like my brother Melvin's back. Well, Melvin's back and we're gonna have a party. Hey la, Melvin's back. We're cooking up some really cool ideas to end hunger. Hey la, Melvin's back. What you got for us, Melvin? Are you on the phone there? Or are you just scratching that handsome face of yours? All right, cool. Anyway, I'm really digging this idea. There was a thought I wanted to complete from a little bit earlier. Wait, I'll be right back. I just want to make sure nobody's at the door. Feel free to chat away. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Thanks for your patience. So something I wanted to follow up on earlier is, so that there's, you know, even someone who has, like, you know, some YouTube videos published and they've got their shtick or whatever, right? Even those people are valuable, especially if they have a lot of viewers, because whatever interview we do with them, odds are they're going to post it on their social media. So their audience gets to see them having a conversation on the collective intelligence block party. You see? So it ends up promoting the block party to their audience.
I like the idea of them being invited into the conversation, because, you know, as we were talking about it earlier, people being on a platform, I'm the speaker, I'm the one who knows stuff, and you're the audience. You know, I like to break that, so that, you know, sometimes with the speaker and sometimes with the listener. I just think it's a much more egalitarian, interesting way to go on. I mean, obviously sometimes people are smart and so interesting, you want to give them more time. But generally, I think it's good to break down that old way of, you know, someone up there and someone down here. It's a bad way to go on.
Brilliant. So brilliant. You know, here's what I would say about that. And then I want to get to what's in the chat, because I think we got a huge opportunity for Melvin to blow the roof off here, per Stephanie's comment. So, but to your point, so what I'm thinking is, in the invitation, see, if you invite someone to be a speaker at something, they know what you're inviting them to, right? If I'm invited to be a part of a conversation, I'm afraid maybe somebody's inviting me to a cult, or they want my money, or, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I say we make the invitation to be as digestible as possible for them. You see what I'm saying? Make it as easy for them to understand and basically say yes to. Once they say yes, you know, of course we'll have a pre-meeting. We'll talk on the phone, or we'll get on Zoom and we'll talk for 20 minutes. And I'll say, hey, good to meet you. Thanks so much for accepting our invitation. Let me tell you about the block party, right? And that's my opportunity to basically say exactly what you just said. So, and odds are they'll have gotten it before I even have to tell them. You know what I mean? But it's still important to have the conversation. But I'm just saying, let's make it as easy for them. Let's give them something that's easy to say yes to. Once they say yes, then the camel's nose is in the tent. Once the camel's nose is in the tent, the rest of the camel follows. We all know how that goes. All right, thank you, So. And now let me address what's in the chat. Let's see. And here's what Stephanie said. I've also been thinking for a while that we should make a little video that captures the block party and the audience in a heartfelt way, and get Melvin to narrate it, because Morgan Freeman ain't got beep on him with his voice. Amen to that, sister. Morgan Freeman ain't got beepo on Melvin. Melvin, you're on mute. That's one thing Morgan Freeman. Okay, go for it.
Well, thank you. I just say thank you. Thank you for the compliment and the belief in me. That's all I can say.
You know, in fact, we could record something right now. Well, I mean, we are recording right now, but like we could like stop and do a new recording, or I could just edit it. That's no problem. I can just edit that. That'd be easy enough. In fact, let's just let it roll and then we can edit it. That's a piece of cake. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Like Melvin, as the narrator, you could say, hello, you know, welcome to the Collective Intelligence Block Party. I'm Melvin, and I'm a proud participant among many. And I'm here today to interview the founder of the block parties, Mr. Jamin Shively. Jamin, tell us, what's this all about? In your own words, what is the block? I know what it means to me, but I want to hear what it means to you. And I'll say, oh, Melvin, dude, thank you. What a great compliment and way to say that. Here's what it means to me. And Melvin, since you mentioned it, what does it mean to you? Right? And you'll say, well, here's what it means to me. And you know what? I really want to hear from my sister, Jackie. Jackie, what does it mean to you? Right? And then listen to this. Already with that, it's a delicious vegan cake with frosting and all that, right? And then Ireland chimes in. Boom! It's like all kinds of like, you know, shamrocks and leprechauns and, you know, are all suddenly dancing on top of the cake. And you're just like, whoa, right? And then Soap drops a bomb from London, England. Whoa, what happened? So, my goodness, right? And then Emery from Canada comes in to clean up. And it's just like, and at that point, everyone's just, they just get it. They'll just be like, whoa, I got to be there. Right? Yeah. And then we'll just say, here's a quick, you know, 2-minute intro or 5-minute or however many minutes it turns out to be. Right? And I'll edit it down. You know, it'll be posted. And then Stephanie, if you want to play with it, throw in some images, throw in whatever. Like if we're talking about hunger, throw in an image. If we're talking about cooling the planet, throw in an image, you know, that sort of thing. And it could be images even from the icons that we've been working on. Let me just pull one up here. You know what I've been talking about with like the topic maps and all that, and those different icons. Anyway, you're the videographer. But anyway, that's just a thought. But, or even if we just take it raw, here is what it is. No editing. It's just like, you just see all of us. This is what it is. Because this is, you know, they just like, boom, they get a 2 or 3 minute peek into the block party where you got the founder and we got our very own Melvin, just freaking, you know, with the deep, rich, you know, grandpa voice by the fire, you know, telling it how it is. I think we got this. I'm like, see, this is collective intelligence. What more do we want? This is the seed crystal that we're now going to grow. I think this meeting today will go down in history as the meeting when we got the rocket off of the launch pad, right? You know, we've been going around the rocket, you know, kind of washing it, making it all sparkly and everything, making sure this is connected and that and this and that. And then, you know, we were standing around one day smoking a cigarette, looking at it, and it's like, wait a second. You know what? We got everything we need. Somebody hit the green button, start, go. Whoa, and then we're all kind of blown back, you know. I think this is that moment. It's time to hit the start button. It's time to do this. Myra, just in time. How you doing, Myra? Welcome.
Hi there. I'm doing great. How's everybody?
Oh my goodness. We're so excited because we are cooking up some plans. There are some plans in this vegan oven and they're cooking. All right.
Nice. Sorry, I'm late. I've been very busy.
Oh, no problem. And you see, look, this is collective intelligence for you because, you know, I remember I've spent a lot of time in rural Mexico with my compadres and my ahijados, my godsons, and my compadres. Those are the parents of my godsons. And they're way out in the country in Guanajuato, Mexico. And the kids in the village where they live, right? They all hang together as like a group. And James and Stephanie, you probably got a similar thing going on there in Cork, Ireland. But all the kids hang together. And, you know, as long as there's like a couple of moms, you know, keeping an eye, the kids are good. Number one, they mostly take care of each other. And number two, to the extent they need adult supervision, there's a mom or two, right, from this group of kids, right? And so if a given mom needs to take a nap or has something else she needs to do, she just goes and does it. The rest of the village, the rest of the kids and the moms all take care. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, that's what it's like here. So Myra's sister, if you got stuff to do, take care of it. You come when you can come, and then we're here for you. That's part of this. It's like this dance. where, you know, you come in and you go out when you need to go. No problem. All right, we got a couple hands raised. We got So, and then we got James. Go for it, So.
Earlier on, I was talking with my son, and then I went quiet for a bit, and then I suddenly burst out laughing. And he said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Well, I think I just randomly laughed." And then I remembered, no, I hadn't randomly laughed. I was remembering this block party on Friday, and it was a conversation, and suddenly in my mind it was like a comedy play, and we were like all the characters in it, you know, because I like the, basically I'm trying to back up what you said about not editing it. I think when you don't edit it, when it's naturalistic, that's what makes it so amusing. I mean, obviously you've got big gaps where it's utterly boring and you think, oh, for God's sake, someone say something that's inspiring us, or, you know, you try to dredge up something from yourself. But every now and again, there are little pockets of sharpness and brilliance, and I was just replaying it back in my head and just started laughing because it was like a play. It was really like a real play.
You know what this is like? And James, I know you got your hand up, but I just gotta bust in. This is like Saturday Night Live when it was but a concept in some back office in some studio in Manhattan. And some people are talking, hey, we could do this. And they're just cracking up. And then like some people walk by the office. Hey, what are you guys laughing about? Oh man, da-da-da, and they show them on the whiteboard and this and that. Yeah, it's a great idea. And there's even more laughter. And then other people are like walking by and they hear, hey, what's going on, you guys? And then it becomes a thing. And then it becomes a thing. This is like that original office in Manhattan where we're kicking around. Hey, how do we, this block party, you know? Stone soup, yeah. It had to start somewhere. You just happened to be lucky enough to be there when it started. James, over to you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. No, I was just saying there because I asked Stephanie herself what ideas would she suggest, but like you were saying, and like So was saying, well, in essence, like So was saying, there would have to be editing in some degree to it anyway. But I'm not an expert in putting videos together anyway. That's why I was asking what Stephanie's idea was. But what you were saying there, like, see, I think it's all to get the idea that everyone can join in. It's all clips, as Stephanie said, just put up there now, so she more or less answered it anyway. She already have a library of clips built up for anyway, she said. So, like, it's a matter of taking those clips where, as So said, sometimes there are boring moments and it's quiet moments in the block party, but then there's moments of magic, and that's what Stephanie's looking for. That she'll pick out the moments of magic. But if we narrate a speech for Melvin, then, and he can be narrating the speech, and in between each few lines or chapter of the speech, he stops, and the person in the block party comes in and says what they have to say, which is related in a sense to the speech that Melvin is narrating. But you'll hear it in that person's words, and then Melvin will carry on in another bit, and then you hear somebody else's words, and Melvin will carry on in another bit. You hear somebody else's words, and get all the magic in there, narrated by Melvin, putting it all together as to what this is about. Like that's I think that would be an inspiring video and dragging people's attention to. But as I said, I'm no expert, but Stephanie would more than likely have better suggestions. Yes.
I love it. Well, I say we just practice it. Why not? Let's give it a go. What do we got to lose? Right? Should we give it a go? We're recording anyway. Melvin, you want to just jump in? I mean, just totally natural. Hello, everyone. Melvin here. I'm loving the block party, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm here today with Jamin, my brother Jamin, the founder, and sister Jackie, and other brothers and sisters around the world, as far away as Ireland and England and Canada. And anyway, whatever. And then just say we're here to, just that's what I would say. But you say what you would say. right?
Hello, this is Melvin, deep in Tempe, Arizona. I'm here at the Collective Block Party to invite everyone to be a part of this um, opportunity that we have for trying to discover and co-create a way forward. And I'm here with the founder of this Block Party, the awesome, inspiring Jamin. And I'm going to pass it to Jamin and let him tell you what the collective intelligence means to him.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melvin. Great to have you here, brother. So collective intelligence is exactly what you're seeing right here on the screen right now. A bunch of us meeting together from several different countries. I think we got 4 different countries represented at the moment. We've had over 20 different countries represented here on the Collective Intelligence Block Party. We put our minds and hearts and creativity together, and we see what we can come up with to solve the world's most daunting problems: hunger, planetary overheating, destruction of the biosphere and the 6th mass extinction, the melting of the ice. You know the problems. We all know the problems. Well, it's time for solutions. And a lot of great solutions have been developed over the centuries, millennia, and many still remain. And we actually need a complete and total set of solutions if we're going to solve our problems in time. Exponential planetary overheating has put us on a really brutally short time clock, stopwatch, that's going tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and we've only got so much time to figure it out. So the urgency here is that we all come together as a planetary collective intelligence. So imagine that just like this Zoom room of, the 7 of us at the moment, imagine there's literally, millions of such rooms. Well, the cool thing is there already are, but we're not connected. We're not networked together. So we need an efficient, effective way to get us all connected together so that as a hyper-connected network of conversations and people, together we can self-organize into the right groups of people at the right time to solve the right problems. And, a lot more to say about it, but that's, let's stay high level for the moment. That's the big picture. That's the big idea. We need to come up with all the solutions that we need to solve our problems, and we need the right strategy in which to execute those solutions that will get everyone on board, right? And in the early stages of this, that's exactly what we need, is to get humanity together and on board with, drum roll, with whatever we're going to co-create together. And it's yeah, go ahead, Melvin. Yeah.
That's awesome, Jamie. Thank you for that, for giving us an overview on what collective intelligence is about. And I just like to add to that about collective intelligence. It's about us recognizing humanity, that we are interconnected to a planetary ecosystem, and that our well-being of humans is interdependent on the well-being of the environment and all the species that exist on our planet. I'd like to hear from Jackie on her thoughts about what collective intelligence means to her.
To me, collective intelligence is a spiritual awakening. To me, collective intelligence is when our inner wisdom recognizes and remembers who we are as humanity, who we are as humans. And we go back to understanding our interconnectedness of nature and how responsible we are. And we use our ability to raise our own consciousness for the greater good of all. And we join once again as one humanity. We create one neural network. We create one source of information of all, so it's available to all. We share, we contribute. To me, that is collective intelligence, is when we gift to the whole, when we participate and exchange medicine to the whole that benefits all life. That to me is collective intelligence, and that's what Mother Nature has done. We've removed ourselves from the entire whole of collective intelligence available on the planet. Humanity needs to come together first as one collective intelligence, and that's how we will then become interrelated once again, and she will thrive once again.
Thank you, Jackie. I was listening to Jane Goodall speak on a YouTube think it was Facebook, or you wanted Facebook, and she really spoke to how our interconnectedness and interdependence on nature, and we most of us are familiar with the work of Jane Goodall in Africa with the chimpanzees and the great apes. And one of the things she said that really stood out to me, that resonated very strongly with me in regard to this COVID-19 virus. And what she said is that the animals do not create this. We are creating it because we are encroaching upon their space. And we're not recognizing how we are interdependent and interconnected to one another. I'd like to shift it over to James over in Ireland. Are you there with us, James? Are you there,
Yeah,
James?
I am, Melvin. Thanks very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for me, I suppose for me, the collective intelligence at first was the end result of my desperate search through a lot of information that's out there, overwhelming scientific information now that's out there in the face of the desperate climate situation that we're all facing, and everything that implies. As much as that I knew about myself anyway, but I knew enough to know that we're in a desperate situation and that we're on a clock, a very short clock. And the collective intelligence came to my attention, as I said, through my incessant searching for like-minded people who are aware enough of the problems and are trying their best to do something about it. And I eventually came across the only people that I could figure out that were actually trying to get together to have conversation with the view of coming up with solutions to try and solve the problems, which is the only way to go. And therefore, for me, I found where I need to be. I figure that it's the place where we all need to be, and it's important now that we all get involved in these conversations. But more so, originally it was the emergency of this calamity that we're facing. But as Jackie mentioned as well earlier, I found also parts in the collective intelligence that I never expected, such as the spiritual aspect, such as the spiritual nourishment I come away from it, from the divine feminine, and from such as the knowledge I've increased my awareness about the consumption of animals and the animal marketing and everything else. My awareness has been so much more broadened by these conversations in the number of weeks that I've been on them alone. And for me, that is positive proof that these conversations are working, that they're enlightening me further, and that I can see that collectively, once more people who are, professional or otherwise, doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, just get involved in the conversation. The more people talking, the more solutions we can come up with. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I feel it's very, very important that we all should be here. So thanks, Milton.
Thank you. Collective intelligence speaks to the realities that we all have something to offer. We all have something to say. With collective intelligence, there's no big I's or no little U's. All ideas are valuable. And we come to here together to share our ideas in a spirit of trying to, in the spirit of making a contribution to the healthy evolution of all life, making a contribution to the healthy evolution of all life. One of the things I want to say about collective intelligence, and I pass it to back to Jamin again, is looking at it from collective intelligence from a whole systems perspective. Could you comment on that, Jamin?
Yeah. So if you think of our world as a whole, which is the only way to think of Mother Earth and all of her children, including us and all of our brother and sister species as a whole, and think of it as one giant being. Well, it is natural that that giant being would have a giant brain, right? to help coordinate its myriad functions and make sure that it's well, right? If I don't have enough nourishment in my body sends signals to my brain that says, hey, feed me, right? So we need to have a sensory network that spans all people, all ecosystems, all species. So if any of our brother and sister species are in trouble, we can come to their assistance. And, you know, so it's really like the way I see it, it's a planetary brain, including a planetary nervous system, right? That's intentionally designed, right? Yes, collective intelligence has been emergent, especially from the internet, but even prior to the internet, right? You know, Gutenberg's printing press was a huge leap forward. In fact, for me, that was the single biggest leap forward of all, single biggest leap forward in terms of our collective intelligence. Cities are another form of collective intelligence. Jackie, you grew up in Manhattan. Manhattan is a case study in collective intelligence. How on earth does that little island generate so much of a portion of the country's economic activity, right? Well, here's why. Somebody on Madison Avenue who's working on some brilliant marketing campaign needs some specialty consulting from someone across town. Well, they're probably 3 or 4 blocks away. You can probably walk there, have your meeting. You're all juiced up. Now you need to go, you know, talk with some lawyer about some specialty angle. Well, your lawyer is also a few blocks away. Everybody's a few blocks away from each other in Manhattan. So it's one giant collective intelligence. So we need to take that Manhattan effect and spread it around the world. Get everyone connected, right? And it just goes on and on. I could talk for hours about it, but I think you wanted short answers, Melvin brother, so I'm going to respect that and go on mute and just let others share about what it means to them, because it's really what it means to all of us. It's not, oh, because, you know, because I was there at the beginning doesn't mean that I've got any better insight than anyone else. So thank you, Melvin brother.
Thank you for your humility and your awareness that others have something to contribute. And that's one of the things I like about this here platform of collective intelligence, is that there's a recognition that everybody has a voice. And let's honor and recognize the voice of everyone. And saying that, I'd like to hear from Stephanie. What's collective intelligence mean to you? Are you with us, Stephanie?
I'm here. Sorry, just get my mic together. Okay, so for me, it's a bit of a tough question to answer. I think the only phrase that comes to mind is, you know, when they say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
And it's like, this is the village, but I suppose the child is all of our authentic selves, and we include everybody in that. Again, not just humans, but all species. And I'm here simply just because I care. I'm not sure what I can contribute other than conversation. And all I know is this is an inspiring group already. I have seen spin-off inspiring groups coming from this, making a huge difference. And the community we have here has led me and made me aware of even the animal agriculture and the effect that has on the climate, and besides the obvious cruelty in industrial agriculture. And I have since become vegan since joining this community, and it's just for me it's such an eye-opener, and I understand a lot more. So I would like to bring a lot more people to this platform so that they can understand a little bit more, because it's not that people are doing any wrong. We were born in this situation, but it's just bringing awareness. And again, the only little phrase again I can think of is it takes a village to raise a child. So I just feel like this is kind of like the village that we all need to be in to help us be aware of our authentic selves.
Thank you, Stephanie. I was reading a story once about, because I wanted to learn more about how life was in pre-Africa. I mean, in pre-Africa, in Africa before the Atlantic slave trade. And how was it that Africa was able to be penetrated, the villages, the communities there. And what happened is that in some of the communities, they had some practices and beliefs where some members were ostracized for whatever. And foreigners were able to reach those people who were ostracized. And when they were able to do that, they were able to get more and more on their side until they became a force. My point here is that here, no one is ostracized because everyone has something to offer. And as we're moving toward, you know, one thing this here, COVID have made, I think we should all, it has made more clear to me and perhaps to many, I know to many others, but to all, is how we are interconnected in this world, that a child over in Africa, what's happening to that child impacts us. And this COVID disease, this here global disease, has really brought home to how we're interconnected, and we shouldn't ostracize anyone. And that's one of the beauties about collective intelligence, that everybody is included, everybody has a voice. I think I read a quote off of from Climate Healers. I think it's by I don't know the author of the quote, but it says the idea that some lives matter less than others is at the root of all that is wrong with the world today. The idea that some lives matter less is at the root of all that is wrong with the world today. And here at Collective Intelligence, we're here to say that all lives matter. All life matters. And having said that, I want to pass it on to Emery over in Canada. If you're there with us, Emery, to hear your thoughts on collective intelligence.
Yes, Emery from Montreal, Canada. And I see collective intelligence as an opportunity to witness the most loving aspects of humanity, to, you know, help save life on this planet. And I'm witnessing that here through collective intelligence. Among saving life on the planet, I'm hopeful to witness the end of pandemics around the world and the misuse of weapons of mass death, you know, and we want to see the vision of a cool down planet that's going to enrich life for generations to come, for many generations to come, for many generations of all life on this planet to come. And I'm hopeful that we as a collective intelligence can come together and do this together, with our hearts open to the prospect that we will be successful and, you know, gift this to our future family of life on this world. So that's what it means to me, kind of in a nutshell. I pass it back to Jamin Shively, founder. You know, I respect him full-heartedly, and I invite everybody, anyone who hears this message, who watches this video, to come and join us. You know, bring your ideas, bring your hearts, and lay them lay them upon our souls here so that we can progress to a positive, fulfilling, joyous life. Pass it back.
I would like to thank you for sharing, and you really said something that resonated very strongly with me when you said the heart. And I think it's important for us to connect collective intelligence with the heart, with compassion. And thank you for bringing it. You really brought it down to earth, to heart, compassion. I'm also reminded of something that I read. I think I learned this from reading Shelley Alstoff's work, where she said that the bees' magnificent talent, ability to do what it do does not belong to the bee, it belongs to nature. And here at Collective Intelligence, we recognizing that our intelligence do not belong to us, it belongs to the world to make this whole world a better place. When you look at nature, there's no species or no animal or no plant that colonizes or try to be the most intelligent or the smartest. It all works in a complementary way. And here at Collective Intelligence, we are of the understanding that our wisdom, our insights, our skills, whatever, don't belong to us. They belong to humanity to contribute to the healthy evolution of all life on the planet of Earth. With that, I want to pass it to Soul Forest. I know I'm messing up your name.
That's okay, Melvin. So it's fine.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm here because I couldn't actually have the conversation about near-term extinction with anyone because they didn't want to know. They didn't actually want to know. It wasn't, you know, their cup of tea. And so I found this. But I like the idea of collective intelligence because I think that we're all meant to be geniuses, but that we get closed down and cut off at quite a young age. And then we might have moments when we open up if we're in the right company with the right random things being said. So I believe in a whole load of random people coming together from different countries with different backgrounds, with different interests, and that by their thoughts and what they say, all these things colliding with each other, that we can all expand individually and then again as a group. So that's really where I'm coming from.
Thank you. You know, what you said resonated very strongly with me, and it really hit a very tender part of my my existence, my spirituality. And you know, when you look at world history for the past, 5,000 years, 10,000 years or so, it's been a patriarchal world where men were in total domination and control. And one half of humanity was excluded, was totally oppressed, was dominated, was exploited, was abused. And that half of the humanity, the feminine, was suppressed. Just think what the world would be now if the feminine was allowed to thrive, to grow, to contribute. And it also reminds me of any forms of slavery, whether it's American slavery or slavery in the Middle East, slavery anywhere, any forms, or whether it's wage slavery, or chattel slavery, how we are denying, excluding, and suppressing the intelligence, the brilliance, the talent, the ambition, the desires of a whole segment of the population. And just think where humanity would be if the part of humanity that's been suppressed was alive to thrive, to express itself. Where would the world be today were it not for the people who came to America looking for a new beginning? We have the internet, we have medicine, we have so much that was really the result of collective intelligence. So what we're here talking about has been radically inclusive. Whoever you are, you have something to offer. So we invite you to join us here, this here meet here with collective intelligence, so that we can co-create the way forward. Thank you very much.
May I add something?
Yes.
Collective intelligence is free will. Destiny is feeling that we're victims to life and victims to circumstances, and we're repeating cycles of unconsciousness. Free will is when we realize that we have the opportunity to be so humble and to be open to what we don't know, to be willing to learn what we don't know, and come together and make a choice and say, I will not be a victim to circumstance. We can come together as one family, and we can help one another, and we can not only survive this, we can thrive on the other side of this. So we can come together in humility, willing to have conversations, willing to receive information that we don't know, willing to synthesize from different backgrounds and different perspectives, to come together as one. This is the prism of light that's needed right now. We are this prism. This is the rainbow warriors coming together to shine the light of truth, agency, and healing onto this planet right now. And anyone that resonates with this message, please join us. Please listen to us. And if you resonate with this message and you've always felt that you know that you can do, that you are meant for something greater, this is the call that Mother Earth is asking us to respond to. Join us. We're here. We love you. We love the world. We love the animals. We love the earth. And we just want to create a better place for the children of the world.
Thank you, Sister Jackie. Anyone else like to have any other comments on collective intelligence?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. You know these little boxes that we're in these little cubes. Hello, everybody in the cube. Wouldn't it be great if we were little hexagonals, like a little hive, like a little beehive? If Zoom did hexagonals, it would be great. I'd love a little I'd like my little cell, you know, my hexagonal cell.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, we're going to pass it back to our founder, the creator of collective intelligence, Jamie.
I thought you were going to say Jackie. Listen, it takes a village, and don't call me creator of anything, because just like was just said about the bees, those capabilities that the bees have do not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melvin.
Right. You know what? It has been.
You're going to have to mute your mic, Melvin.
Right. Collective intelligence did come about through a collaborative process. It does not belong to any one individual. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, as James mentioned, it's important that you mute your microphone when you're not talking so we don't get the feedback. Thank you, James, for that. You know, I mean, that's the cool thing here. Like I said, you know, I happened to be here at the start, but, you know, whatever I brought to the table really belongs to the world. It belongs to nature, right? It's not mine. And, you know, that's part of what ticks me off when somebody like Jeff Bezos really feels entitled to own that much of the world's life-giving resources. because he was the product of incredibly supportive parents, right? And an incredibly supportive community where he grew up in Arizona, and a great high school and great teachers and great, you know, family. It takes a village, right? This belongs to nature. Whatever we produce belongs to nature, not to us as individuals. And, you know, building off of what was said earlier, and it's funny, it's like I'm starting to even just like lose memory of who said what, because it just doesn't matter. The important thing is that the collective intelligence said it, right? Which Harlem Globetrotter put it into the hoop? Who cares? Because it was the couple of moves before that that were just absolutely, you know, that made it happen. Think back to Pele and the Jenga style and how the Brazilians played. Melvin and I were talking about that earlier in the capoeira. Anyway, but it's what was said earlier about, you know, how we've all been, you know, suppressed in one way or another, right? And if you if you think about the world oversimplistically, that there are two kinds of people. There are those who are fundamentally okay with people oppressing other people, and people who are fundamentally not okay with that, right? We're not okay with that. People who are take those skills of oppression everywhere they go. And we've been in other meetings where those skills of oppression come out, and it just destroys the creativity, the feelings of love and compassion. You know, we all are experiencing this feeling of our hearts opening, because we're in a safe place. We know that we're loved and embraced for who we are, right? And we're totally getting that we all need to get through this together. So this is the seed, right? Folks in 4 different countries with very different backgrounds coming together and saying, let's do this. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning, right? Of the mission, not the mission to Mars, but the mission to Mother Earth reloaded, right? That's exactly the mission. We are reloading life on Earth, transforming life on Earth. As we were talking about earlier, save and transform. You first have to save before you can transform, right? But that's the mission, save and transform life on Earth. Wow. Now, just take a look here. We've got 15 block parties under our belt. That's 360 hours of block party, okay, under our belts. And then on top of that, we've got, you know, probably another 120 or so hours of Solution Club in the same period of time, and probably another, I don't know, 800 hours before that. Anyway, we've got well over 1,000 hours, and we're gonna be in deeper into the thousands of hours of experience. And it took all those hours to get to this point, right? Think of all the different, you know, trials and tribulations we've been through, right? The folks who've been on the meeting who do oppress other people, they're no longer here, right? But we kind of had to find the right, you know, we kind of had to figure out who we are as Humanity Reloaded, right? We are Humanity Reloaded, right? You know how like they talk about stages of evolution and all that, and, you know, like there was some group in Africa that first, you know, finally figured out, you know, language or whatever, right? And then that became poof, and then they were the first ones. And of course, then they had this huge advantage, right? And then they just spread and spread and spread. So we're like the initial cluster of Humanity Reloaded, right? And, you know, this is a really good taste, I think, of what the culture of the future is going to look like, because we started with this one safe place, truly safe and loving and empowering and co-creative, right? That's just such a joy to be a part of. We started with this one safe space, one room, one Zoom room, and we hung on, right? like me clinging to the side of a mountain. My dad used to take me rock climbing and classes and all that. So imagine here I am, this 13-year-old kid clinging to the side of the rock. We're just hanging on. But we hung on and we hung on and we hung on. And now I feel like we've made it to not the top, but a plateau. And now we can just, you know, lay on the top of this plateau and just chill for a while before we take on the next portion. But listen, when we take on the next portion, we're now going to have way more people and a whole bunch of our other brothers and sisters, right, who we've been missing, but we don't even know yet, right? Or we don't know yet in the physical form. We probably met them before we came here, and we all signed our contracts. And but now we're going to meet them in physical virtual form. How cool is that? So anyway, couldn't be more excited. And I think with that introductory video, since all of us spoke, right? You know, it's not like some of us spoke. All of us spoke. And I really want to thank everyone for speaking, right? And Melvin, thank you so much for leading. And Stephanie, thank you so much for being the Garrincha who passed the ball to Pele, right? I'm a big fan of Brazil, Brazilian soccer. Thank you. And thank you, James, for inviting Stephanie, you know, and on and on and on. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought everyone's contributions were amazing. And it shows us as a small group. I don't think we'll ever be this small again. So enjoy it while it lasts, right? We're like the Beatles backstage before going on stage. We're going to be on stage pretty soon. And the screaming is going to be almost deafening. So put some cotton in your ears. Oh my goodness. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel like we finally hit it? Right? And who knows what combination of stuff had to happen in those 1,000+ hours to get here. 1,000+ hours of video conferencing to get here.
You know what, Damon? We were just purging. We were making space. That's what we were doing. We had so many ideas, and each of us have come from a background where we didn't have communities that we could discuss this with. So a lot of that energy was spent internally going over this because we didn't have a community to share with. So I think we built up so many ideas and conclusions, and that once we got together, it took us a while to just kind of all of us contribute all of that and then make space within us so that we could all come together to find a solution. So I think that's what we were doing. We were kind of just decluttering and making room and making space and purging all of that excess energy that we built up on our own. And then we made space that we could integrate one another into this space and create solutions together. So I think it just happened divine and perfectly in this sacred space.
Yeah, totally, totally. You know, I sometimes tell stories about my time in Mexico, in rural Mexico, with my compadres and my ahijados. And one thing that's well known in rural Mexico, if you want two dogs to get together and have kids, it's really simple what you do, right? You don't have to get them drunk or play music or anything, hire mariachis or anything like that. You just tie them both to the same tree and give it time, right? And doggone it, it'll happen. It just happens. And so in our case, we've committed to coming here again and again and again. We keep showing up, and just like those, you know, dogs who are destined to be tied to the same tree, we hung together long enough that we finally figured out how to, you know, how to sing together and how to sing the same song, right? There's that Chinese expression, lao qing wu man chu fu. I'm just kidding, I don't speak Chinese. But there's that Chinese expression that goes, sleeping in the same bed dreaming different dreams. Who the heck would want that? Well, guess what? We got 8 billion of us. Humans, plus a gazillion trillion others. We're all sleeping in the same bed. And I'm thinking, gee, I bet if I chop down all those trees, I could get so many board feet of lumber, and then I could run cattle on the land, get a beef operation going on here, right? That's a human being infected with an idea virus that says you can own, you can dominate, you can have dominion, do whatever you want. You're the man, you're the master, right? And look at how far we took that metaphor, right? So we've been downloaded with malware, with this idea virus that we can own, that we can dominate, that we can have dominion, and that we're not a part of nature, we're above nature, and we're almost wiped out because of it. And here, I'll give an example of collective intelligence. I forgot where I was going to go with that, so I'm just going to go on mute and let one of my brothers or sisters pick it up from there.
Well, I'll just expand a little bit on what you were saying there, and Jackie, in the sense that not only were those 1,000-odd hours spent on having the chance to individually express ourselves over time, but we all bonded as a family. I think we've already agreed on that. Like, we've become more than friends; we've become a family, and a family that is one united family with a united goal and purpose. Like, and so that is what is also striking to me as well about the collective intelligence block party, is that that is another unexpected gift that came out of it. So you know, there's far more to be gained from sitting down and having conversation. It's not just about working out solutions. It's about being included, involved, and you know, a feeling of inclusiveness is not just the only thing. It's also knowing that you're respected for whatever your views are. So those are very important values to come away from something like that.
Yeah, this cannot help but spread. This but rather than spread like, you know, like a meme or an idea or something like that, it feels to me like the way that this is going to spread is people need to come here and experience being with us, right? We're like just a wonderful, beautiful family that just works, right? We got our amazing matriarchs here, just making sure, you know, everything's super cool and everyone's loved and cared for. We got Grandpa there by the fire telling stories, right? With his deep voice that just melts you like vegan butter, right? And you've just got this amazing cast of characters, of people. And that's what a family is. Everyone is totally unique in that family, right? And so what we are is we are that, you know, that family we never knew we always wanted, and here it is, and we're safe here, and we're loved and supported, and it's warm by the fire. It's warm throughout the house. There's plenty to eat, plenty to go around, plenty of love, and it's just there's nothing missing. We're just happy as can be. We're singing, and outside it's a cold, stormy, windy, sleety, snowy night, right? And, you know, a young boy and a young girl are lost in the woods, and they're cold, they're hungry, they're tired, they're depleted. And wait, and they hear the laughter. And they come and they see the house through the trees, and they come and they knock on the door. Can we come in? Of course. What better place to land, right? Welcome home. Welcome home.
You know, I also want to invite people to feel that feeling in their body that we don't have to be in despair. I would rather go down doing this than sitting doing nothing. If I need to look at my children's eyes and I need to look at all the children's eyes and let them know that I would rather go down doing this than nothing. That's the agency that I contribute. That's my power. That's what I can do. I can fight and I can not accept. And I will go down with her rather than doing nothing. And there's so many of us that feel that way and we don't know what to do. Come together, bring your ideas, contribute. Let us help you catalyze your ideas. Let us help you synthesize your ideas. We can all do something. There's so many of us. We have to get that story, that narrative that we've adopted out. We are all capable. We are nature. We are nature. We can save ourselves. We are designed to be healthy. We can do this. And like I said, not doing anything is just not an option.
Totally, totally. Oh my goodness. You know what? Just seeing what we're putting together just today in this one meeting, this one long 8-hour solution club, right? It's so clear that humanity, we've totally got the potential. We're just starting it now. What this is right now is this, right? The first 15 block parties, we were like this. And at this solution club, this happened. This happened, right? And may this fire, this benevolent fire, metaphorically, of course, but what it really is, it's a new configuration for humanity, right? It's like a new crystalline structure. I studied material science both as an undergraduate and as a graduate student at UC Berkeley at different times, with other work in between in hydroclimatology. And so I learned about, you know, the crystalline structure of metals and of different materials, and how that was so different from, like, you know, the amorphous structure of glass or whatever. Anyway, so if you get a chance to read Kurt Vonnegut's book, Cat's Cradle, it has this story of this crystalline structure, Ice 9, that just totally spreads. So the idea is we get into a certain formation, click, click, and then it just spreads by attracting others to it, right? So it's like we're forming like a formation. Just imagine us locking arms in a certain way, but it's in a way that can grow, you know, like a hexagonal, you know, honeycomb structure, for example, right? And the organic metaphors are going to help us out a lot here in terms of the software architecture, in terms of the shape of the screen. I love So's idea of making it like honeycombs, right? How cool is that? And why not? This new structure, this new formation is just going to be so incredibly viral. And people are going to want to come in and join and join. And of course, open arms, open doors, come in. Now imagine that we, basically the founders, the people who really made this what it is first, right? Imagine that we, for the most part, hang out. I'm going to use the skyscraper as the analogy, right? Imagine that we're hanging out here at reception at the ground floor of the skyscraper. People go in, those rotating, circular doors and all that, and they come in and they see us. We're the first people they see. And we say, welcome, welcome, welcome. And, we talk with them for a minute or so, figure out what they're interested in. And then we say, listen, you're welcome here to hang out with us as long as you want. And we got all these different breakout rooms that are going on. So if you want to get right into what you want to focus on, here we're mainly focused on doing this, welcoming people like yourself. And I see we got 10 other people in the room, so let me go to whoever's next. And, we kind of work with them one-on-one. And of course, you're welcome to hang out here as long as you want. You want to hang out here in the living room with Grandpa? Hang out in the living room with Grandpa, right? You got more stories to tell, right, Melvin? You don't have to answer that. I know you're multitasking there. That's cool. And you know, and some people would just want to hang with us. I would. Right? And it's just going to be this party on the ground floor. And then little by little, listen to this. Dr. Yatow at Harvard will say, hey, I'm going to go do a meeting up on the 4th floor. Whoever wants to come, I'll be there. We're working on SRM because that's important. We got to put out this planetary fire. I'm like, dude, I wish I could be there with you myself, but I gotta, you know, be here with, you know, Melvin and Jackie and Stephanie and Emery and James here, you know, on the ground floor. So, but, you know, but do check back in, and, you know, I'll pop up there when I can. If it gets a little quiet here, and Jackie and Melvin are like, you know, we got this, James. All right, cool. I'll cruise up. Right. Likewise, floor after floor after floor. We're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing this, but on different topics. Some very focused, some very broad. And thus begins the network. I hereby proclaim the network of collective superintelligence. We are founding it right here together. We proclaim. I invite us all to proclaim together. Here, put your hand in up on the screen so we can touch each other. All right, there you go. James, Emery, Stephanie. All right, that's it. We hereby proclaim collective superintelligence. We are putting together the network of all of our brothers and sisters, all coming together. Careful though, Melvin, I don't want anyone taking a picture of your fingerprint there and then using it to get into buildings and stuff, so. Anyway, that's it. This is it. This is collective superintelligence. And as an example of the kind of cool stuff we're going to be able to do, in 13 minutes, some super cool vegans are going to show up. I know we got some super cool vegans in the house between Ireland and the United States. But some more super cool vegans are going to show up. And we're going to tell them what we've come up with. Why not? And I'm referring to the Vegan Collective Intelligence, which happens during the last 2 hours of the Solution Club every Tuesday. So from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And 5 p.m. Pacific time means that it'll be 2 a.m. in Ireland in a few minutes. 1 a.m. 1 a.m. in Ireland. Wow. Beautiful. What a day. Oh my goodness. And what a breakthrough. Right? And, you know, I really want to thank Emery for taking the lead on bringing us to the heart, bringing us deep right there into the heart and compassion. Because here's the thing. You want to talk intelligence? So much of our intelligence is in the heart. Who said it's all in the brain? Right? In fact, I'm reminded of that song from Cypress Hill. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. We're insane in the brain. Our brains have gotten infected with malicious malware, software viruses that have turned us into like these, you know, it took this beautiful fuzzy furry teddy bear and turned it into this robot Chucky. I will chop down, kill, destroy, dominate, dominion. I mean, it's just bad software. But why, Chucky? Why? Because that way I get more for me, and then I can get more women and get them pregnant and have more copies of me. It's time to put Chucky to bed for a long, long time. Yeah. We need to tell Chucky a bedtime story. The bedtime story for Chucky is the new story for humanity, right? And we got to eradicate the Chucky virus. It's a virus, you know. Maybe like, I don't know, keep one copy of it in like some vault, right? So it can be studied, but never let that thing infect a single human mind or heart again, right? And you know what? You're looking at the McAfee antivirus deep scrubber, deep cleaner for your hard drive. If Hillary Clinton had known about us, she wouldn't have had to broken out the Clorox bleach, right? Sorry. But, you know, we're going to scrub that virus out of every last mind and heart and reintegrate the heart with the mind. We're developing this really beautiful mind heart circulation, great circulation from mind to heart, right? To body, to physical embodiment of what we come up with. Mind, heart, body, sensors, opening our eyes, seeing what's going on, taking it all in as a sensory network, not as an individual. Oh, what can I read? What can I see? Oh, I've got to fly here. I've got to see that for myself. Da, 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 da. No, you don't actually. All right. Building the collectively super intelligent sensory network, right? Integrated with the collective super intelligence brain, integrated with the collective heart, right? Led by the divine feminine. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And you know that's the wisdom that's not, no one was talking about, that's not brought into account. It's like, yeah, we acquire knowledge. Our brains are just computers that are here to learn how to navigate this third dimensional world. It is incapable of comprehending our spiritual nature, our interconnectedness, without all of the knowledge. That the knowledge is kept from us, so we don't make those connections, so we don't see what is right in front of us. We don't have the whole picture, so we can't make the connections. This is what's so important about coming together with collective intelligence in humility, is to accept that I don't know what I don't know, but I'm willing to learn because I want to do better and I want to be better. And you know what? We all want to just do what's right. This is not about what's right for the economy. This is not what's right for our country. What is right by humanity? What is right by nature? What is right about being human? This is what we're doing. And when we do that, we make it so simple. It's not complicated. It is coming together to do what is right by our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, and helping one another to be healthy and joyful and stress-free by just love and just showing love. That is very simple. And we are all capable. You don't have to be rich to show love and compassion. That's our language. That's our currency. And we have to remember that.
So beautiful, Jackie. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Wow. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's like, I really feel like we got tested. I'm never going to name any names when we talk in these terms, but we did get tested by certain individuals and certain behaviors, right? Where I really had to learn to stand up and be a defender of the whole community, right? Against any form of bullying, right? Any form of meanness. And, that took something for me to step up like that. And, that's part of the 1,000+ hours of learning. It's just learning how to, really learning how to get into a formation that really works for humanity. And maybe it took video conferencing as a medium. I don't know. I'm not going to, I can't judge that. But you see how this brings us together in a way that's very pure and non-complicating, right? Like, I don't have to figure out about clearing out, the back bedroom and figuring out what to put down for people to sleep and everything so that we can keep talking and keep hanging. We're just, everyone, wherever they are, boom, right? We just dial in. And so it makes it really simple. We just get together and jam, right? No matter where we are. And that the fact that we've got so many countries represented here, right? I say countries. What I really mean is, peoples and, different parts of the world where you just have a whole different history and a whole different, therefore a whole different kaleidoscopic perspective on reality. Because what I'm seeing here is stuff is just starting to flow, right? As everyone's feeling empowered and respected to share their gifts, right? Look at how it's all flowing. And that's exactly what we needed. And so it's like, I feel like we finally broke through, right? We found that elusive keyhole on the side of the mountain in Lord of the Rings. And here we are.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because remember how they said it was like, an ancient language. Does anyone recognize this ancient language? Yeah, the language we're speaking has become an esoteric language. The language of love has become an esoteric language. We have forgotten how to communicate with our hearts, from our hearts, that language. It's like we think that we feel with our thoughts. We don't understand that wisdom comes from our heart brain. We have a brain in our hearts and we communicate through there. And when we speak the language of our heart, when we speak the language that our heart wants to communicate with, that vibration releases our innate wisdom that is trapped in our body through our DNA. So it doesn't always come from the mind. Our wisdom is our experience, our lived experience, our essential experience. Our experience coming together, all of that wisdom comes together when we speak the language of love and we all resonate with one another. So it needs to not be an ancient esoteric language anymore. It needs to be the norm. We all need to connect with our hearts and speak truthfully and honestly with agency, humility, and compassion. That is the language that's going to resonate. It's going to ripple healing. We all have to be courageous enough to speak the language of love from our hearts.
Beautiful. That's it. And we're learning to speak it as a chorus or sing it as a chorus, because no one of us has the whole, set of keys, right? Yeah, so we just all come together, just like a music jam in the park on a Friday night. Everybody just bring whatever instruments. If you don't already got instruments, just bring like a bucket from home and a couple things from the kitchen, and let's do this. Stone soup. Bring what you got. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, in a couple of minutes, it'll be 5 p.m. Pacific, and we should have some more super cool vegans showing up. And Emery's got his hand up. Go for it, Emery.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe could think of a song. Anybody have a good song to play? What comes to mind?
Hey, humanity, going through life like a zombie, trying to acquire more and more and more and more for me. For me. Hey, humanity, don't you see the effects of taking that pee on that fragile flower that's saying, hey, dude, not on me. You're always window shopping, but never stopping to buy. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit, hey humanity. Time to wake up and you will see of the beautiful world that awaits as we see. We're not separate, we're one humanity. With credit given to the Seekers and that late 60s hit, Georgie Girl from the Australian band The Seekers. But that's a really great kind of, I mean, I use that song for New Washington, to be the song, the anthem of the movement against, to take down the criminal drug cartels here in the state of Washington. I'm happy to sing that song too. Welcome, Benjamin and Suzanne. Welcome, Jessica. Welcome back, Maddie. Welcome, Ray. Welcome, everyone. Great to see everyone. We have just had the most amazing meeting. We're still recording, still broadcasting, and we'll wrap up that meeting in a moment. But do people want another song? Do people want to hear New Washington? If you want, I'll sing it.
All I say is that if this don't work out anyway, you should give Andrew Lloyd Webber a shout.
Thank you. All right. So let's. So this. What's that, Jackie?
I said I'm going to take a really quick body break before we launch into the next segment of the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, I'll wrap up with a song, and then we'll start it. We'll start the new meeting. Okay. So this this is the song that we sing in the state of Washington to say bye-bye to the criminal drug cartels who have set up shop here. And the song is called New Washington. It goes like this. Hey there, Washington, sucking on a joint so fancy-free. Nobody you meet could ever see the deadly cartels inside you. Hey there, Washington, why do other states just pass you by? Could it be you just don't try, or is it the drug cartels? You're always window shopping, but no balls to legalize. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Washington, there's another Washington inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Washington. Anyway, that's the first half of the song, New Washington. Again, inspired by and playing off of Georgie Girl by the Seekers, that great Australian band, late 60s. Alrighty, well, thank you, everyone. And with that, I guess we can take a pause to recording unless anyone else has anything else to say before we pause. All right, let's pause recording.